Welcome to INNOV-8 Presents Entrepreneurs in Tech. This is a conversation actually I've been looking forward to, been waiting for it. So today is the day for it. And we're delighted to have our guest, Rui Duarte, who is the managing director at Loop Future. Loop Future. Very interesting. Rui, I would love for you to give us a small introduction. And for our listeners and viewers who might not be familiar with you, give us a little bit of background and expertise. And I am dying to really dive into it. Please.
Thank you so much, Bob, for having me. I was also looking forward to having
My
this
pleasure.
conversation with you. It's a real pleasure to be here. As you said, my 9 to 5 currently is to run a B2B tech company in Switzerland called Loop Future. And that's exactly where I work at the intersection of technology and business growth and global strategy. And alongside that, I've dedicated much of my life to public policy, to public purpose. And so AI governance and diplomacy and AI policy um, come as natural topics for me. As I started my career in politics back in Portugal, I served as a member of parliament, elected. I worked with, that gave me the opportunity to work with institutions like the UN, the European Commission, and other intergovernmental institutions. And then, I eventually transitioned into the tech leadership. And today I see, my role as building bridges between these worlds between technology and society, technology and policy, between innovation and governance, and ultimately between business and public purpose. And that's where I've been over the last 20 years, 20-ish years, and very much looking forward to this conversation too. Thanks, Bob.
Great. Absolutely. My pleasure. Pretty much, you said building bridges between technology and society. More like right now, you got to say building bridges between AI and society because technology is all about AI these days. Before I jump into it and really dig in, I just a bit of what really kind of got you, how should I say, enthused to say, hey, this is the path I want to carve my journey in life. What made you choose that path of tech? And obviously it led to AI, but it started with technology. Was it something that you were influenced by back in your teenage days or when you went to college, your parents and all of that, that really kind of led you into that path?
Um, I think so. That's a great question to pose myself. I think what first drew me was curiosity. I think curiosity. I think that drew me in since my early days, as you were saying. I think curiosity about how systems work, uh, whether political, economic, or technological, AI. I think these disruptions that we're living, they have something beautiful. They bring something beautiful. They bring new worlds, and that passion to discover new worlds. I guess that was one of the things that embedded in that curiosity that I've been carrying with me throughout my career and my life journey. And as I said, I began in politics, and I quickly realized that technology was becoming the real driver already back then when the internet bubble, everything, and was really becoming already the real driver of societal change. And so moving into
Hmm.
business was almost a natural evolution. And I wanted to be, I guess I always wanted to be where innovation um, and positive disruptions uh, meet ethics, responsibility, um, big existential questions, tough, difficult questions. I guess curiosity and complexity are my answers, Bob. I think, and I guess tech gives me that arena today, and AI gives me that.
These these are the basic foundation of any innovation and innovators. Always, always,
So
always. Um, Rui, you know, back when cryptocurrency cryptocurrency started, big panic from governments, lawmakers. We cannot control it. There's no regulation. We cannot regulate it. It's impossible. It's in and out, zigzags. And is it the same? They're trying to regulate AI, but still nothing really solid, nothing in stone. Could it be regulated, or it is something that still flowing everywhere because new technologies, new ways, whether you're a hacker, use it in a negative way or use it in a positive way. Still, the regulation is not solid and it's not there. And would it be more positive if it's regulated, or it's gonna start put limitation on us as innovators in humanity, people who really want to see AI to go further?
Yeah, well, that's a big question and a very good one, Bob. I think it can be regulated. I think everything can be regulated, but not everything is regulated as we imagine. And the reason is that you see the policy circles sometimes imagining one thing, writing down one thing, even when they agree on one thing, which is becoming rare, um, and that doesn't translate into reality. Or if it does, it's already too late to apply to the reality that evolves much faster than any regulatory space or any policy maker.
Because it's moving so fast, it's always
Exactly.
ahead,
Exactly.
way
And with
ahead.
AI, imagine with AI, that gap becomes wider because uh, regulatory policy moves at glacial pace sometimes, to be very precise. And you have AI evolving so fast, exponentially evolving every day, that both worlds don't meet at any point. And that's where the challenge comes in, I guess. That's where diplomacy needs to come in. That's where bridgers and bridges need to come in to ensure that we reduce that gap, that we shorten that distance, and that we connect with collaborative velocity, as I call it in my book. With collaborative velocity, we uh, shorten that distance between worlds and make them work together. I think that's the secret. Now, either you're in Europe, Africa, Asia, Latin America, whatever, you need to intergovernmental organizations, big global bridges, they need to ensure that all these pieces are coming together. And you know why? And that was mainly the motive and the motivation behind my book, or the motivation to write a book now. I could have wrote about my policy memories or so, but I chose to write it now because I think this is a make it or break it for humanity. I think we're on the brink of a new social contract in the making. And I don't know if everyone is
Wow.
aware or awake for that. And we surely need to be awake for the fact that the data economy that AI is accelerating, the data citizenship that AI is putting at the center of the economy, these are all new variables that will shape tomorrow's economy, that will shape tomorrow's society. So if we decide to divorce from shaping the values of AI today, that means we're divorcing from shaping that future economy, that future society of tomorrow. So this is why I believe it's very much important to have me, you, and many, many others curious, always curious about what's happening in the world of AI, and very much eager and keen to voice out our opinions, our thoughts, and call on leaders, call on decision makers, not just policymakers, but corporate decision makers. They're as important as the policymakers. Corporate decision makers, as you said, they're playing a big, big role today. You have a lot of power concentrated in few organizations. That means that diplomacy tomorrow will not be between states. it will have to be between systems. Ultimately, you'll have to have AI to AI protocols with companies behind.
Wow.
So there's a new spectrum to think about, and a very rapid societal change, and many societal changes happen in that form this big and I believe positive disruption that we call.
So it's a new culture, new social culture in corporate and in society, both. So from industrial to technological era, and the panic is real. Videos on social media, interviews I see, I watch, I come across, everybody's panicking. Why jobs will be replaced, jobs will be gone 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. We're gonna live in a different world, and why in accelerating all this acceleration because there's no regulation, so it's free for all right now. It's a free market for it. By building data center, they're trying to regulate it. I think once these data centers controlled by certain companies, where they're the one who's going to control the infrastructure of our social, our financial, our future, unfortunately, I don't know, fortunately or unfortunately, but if everything becomes dependent on these systems, then we all in the hands of certain companies. Really, as you said, it's no longer politicals and no longer country. It becomes more
But
systems.
there's hope, Bob. There's hope. I think there's hope in that. If we choose to shape the systems, let me give an example. Switzerland, where I live today, launched a week ago the new Swiss AI called Apertos, which in Latin means open. It's the first open code GPT, a first open code LLM model. And this sends a strong message to the world, and particularly to some companies and some countries that are now starting to shape their AI regulations. And what Switzerland is saying is, although we don't have an AI Act, we're here to promote the open code, democratic, inclusive AI, and to ensure that companies and citizens all have access to the same AI capacity, AI power. So I believe that so there's the upside and the downside of not having yet a uniform approach to AI. There's the fact that, yes, we risk being into a fragmented world tomorrow because we have many regulatory approaches to AI. So we have many ways of seeing AI collectively from the country state point, the corporate standpoint, but there's also the opportunity of some countries like Switzerland and others coming up as the the guiding lights towards a more neutral AI, towards a more democratic AI, because like it or not, AI is here. AI will reshape everything as we know today. So
Is already it
it
is
is
shaping.
exactly it is
It started
it
to.
is so there's
Yes.
no choice in
Yeah.
that front. I believe the only choice is to influence how it will shape our lives, how it will reshape our lives, how it will redesign the things we know today, from hiring to firing, from entertainment to the corporate life. So we need to make sure we have a hand on that. I totally agree. I totally agree. And being a thinker of AI, an AI thinker today, I certainly agree with the fact that we need to conceive AI as a system that always retains and keeps human in the loop. I think that needs to be um, a stepping stone in the road to a better AI and in the road to a more inclusive and democratic AI. And there's still time. That's why I'm positive about this. There's still time to do that. We just need to ensure that we're playing our influence as you're doing, Bob. You're an AI influencer. You're influencing people by exposing others' opinions, by debate, by discuss this. This is really important. And we only have these platforms also because AI is helping us to put things together more easily. And so I think there's much of
Yeah.
there's a lot of positive things to explore in the AI. We just need to make them work for us, for the many, not for the few.
What do some of these younger generation, or all of these younger generation, that who's graduating from high school this year or 2 years from now, where they started to plan their path into life, and they're already discussing it. They're more exposed to social media than a lot of us. That's all they do. These youngers scroll, swipe, and read. And what to study? I want to be a doctor. And well, 10 years from now, AI gonna take over. That's the discussions between a lot of these teenagers these days. What do I do? Forget about marketing. That's gonna definitely go to AI. Forget about being a journalist or writer or any of that stuff. And all of these things. So, what to study? Become an engineer? A lot of the schools are they have a flux of younger generation, new graduates from high school, a flux of engineers. Everybody want to be an engineer, software engineer. Is that the solution? Software AI engineer, data science AI, and all of these things. So how do there is a little panic, I would say, or confusion. Let's not call it a panic. Let's call it a confusion of the newer generation who are about to finish high school and just finishing high school and try to carve their path to life.
Well, that's definitely one of the great concerns. I also have more questions than answers. And one of the things that
And I think a lot of us kind of been try to push it under the rug. And okay, as all of this talk about AI and talk about these massive data centers that are being built all over the world, in the States, in Abu Dhabi, and like OpenAI, they're doing a 10 square mile, and Mark Zuckerberg's, and all of these big companies. There's so many big AI data centers that gonna need a lot of energy. Not forget that,
climate
to run it,
impact
and a
as well.
lot of water to keep it cool. Yes,
We're gonna
yes,
have more
water
than
will
oil.
become more expensive
Yeah.
than oil. Yeah.
Bob, I try to. Here's what I do to help me, as we were discussing prior to this, to help me keep my feet on the ground and help me also digest the 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 mass information we're targeted with today, and to understand the
Yes.
changes step by step, hour by hour, day by day. I try to have these two lenses these days. The lens of the B2C AI, where it affects people, the individuals, and the more B2B slash B2 policy, B2 corporations, B2 business, where all the systemic changes and all the data centers affecting the climate policy, etc. So this is just my own filter. It doesn't mean it's a good.
Hey, no, no, this is only a discussion between kind of an AI enthusiast, I would say, and who loves to explore and talk about AI, and an AI expert who wrote a book, who you give speeches, you go around. So you're more involved in it, definitely way more than I am, and more an expert in
But
it.
I feel as
But
you, I feel as you the need to have some to anticipate some of the risks that will affect our children. I'm a father of two daughters, right? They're always on my mind when I do anything. They're my first thoughts. They're my first concern. So whenever I write something, whenever I do something at my job, of course, they're always present. They're always there. We know that's how it works. But my point was, and of course, I am concerned about the cognitive war that we might be getting into with the doom scrolling, people not thinking enough, having the systems thinking for us, and the systems thinking for the young people, the young generations. I'm concerned about that, and we have some of that. I know, and schools, fortunately, again, but there's hope. Schools are um, backtracking, and they're coming back to the school where you were not allowed to take your iPhone with you, which is a good news, right? Which is a good news.
Yes, yes, they had it. I think
Yeah,
this year it came they kind of
yes,
enforced
all
it.
over the world.
But in the opposite flip, yeah, there's about four schools just opened up in America. Same company, they have four AI schools. One in Austin, 2 hours a day.
Yeah,
AI school. You just sit with your laptop. Young kids, yeah, absolutely. One in Austin, one in California, and I think there's one in Miami and one somewhere else.
yeah,
And everything through AI, 2 hours a day, and the rest you do physical activity, socializing, building, using your skills, your hands. I'm like, wow, this is absolutely great, actually. Better than just sitting down on a desk all day, just jumping from one class to another. I kind of like that idea, but again, that's
going in the same
uh,
direction. That's
pivoting
all.
away
Yeah,
from.
it's but you
Yes, yeah. Now we
know,
communicate. The kids are communicating with AI. They're no longer
I understand.
communicating with
I understand.
humans.
But you
That's
know
it.
what advice I would give? Maybe not to me, but to a young man that's entering the market today. You know what I would tell him or her? Study to be a good plumber, a good electrician. You're gonna need this tomorrow.
HVAC business
You're
is
gonna need
huge right now because they're saying all these centers they need
exactly.
plumbers, they need master
And
electricians
everyone
and
is
all kind of
joining
electricians
the
and
AI world,
carpenters.
the tech, sitting at the
Yeah,
laptop, etc. But no one is thinking about
learn a skill, learn a
exactly
skill.
to learn a skill, the base economy, what keeps the systems running, what keeps the society running, and that will be a luxury service in no time. There will be a luxury service in no time. So I believe,
This is the next business in America that's selling. Companies are being a lot of the PE, the
mhm,
private equity companies, are looking into small HVAC
so
companies that does about $3 to $4, $5 million, and they want to take them to 100 million and buy them out, and this is the
yes,
biggest
so
thing
it
right
means
now.
that you see one of the changes that AI is forcing, not necessarily directly but indirectly, is that some blue collar jobs will become white collar jobs in the future. Why? Because AI.
The
Yes,
most valuable because there's not a lot of kids know how
exactly.
to. That's a skill. You have to learn it
So
at a
I
younger
think
age.
the things will be like in a chess game. I think you'll have some moves that are more obvious and others that will be less obvious. But we will see the pieces getting together into these directions in no time, and very much faster than we saw with all the revolution that internet brought to our lives.
Very interesting. As we every day we wake up a new thing, a new
Yeah,
company, a new venture, a new AI platform, and being
yeah.
born and
A
talked
new
about.
service, a new
And
service. AI as
also,
a service is booming everywhere. AI governance as a service, everything is booming for organizations.
but it's interesting that you all the way in Switzerland and
Yeah,
I'm in the States, and you talked about these skills, that blue collar skills, which
yeah,
is the plumbing, electrician, master electricians, carpenters. These are jobs. It doesn't matter where if AI now they have these big robotic machines that actually build homes with 4D. They're printed or 3D or
mhm,
4D. They get printed and then it
yeah,
builds it by itself. Sure, there has to be operators, but you'll have like three, four people building a home within a month and you're done. So, would it be a new way of plumbing, a new way of electricity set up, pre-made already by a
mm,
factory? So,
yes,
an electrician doesn't have to get down on his knees with his knee pads and his screwdrivers and all of
yeah, I
that and
believe so. I
connecting
believe
and
so. I believe so. I believe that AI should be exactly that. I mean, ideally for me, that's exactly the scope and definition of AI I would ideally see in a few years' time, to give the craftsmanship that that works in a business of precision, either in fashion or whatever. Time to think, time to think critically, to think creatively, and let the other intense job being done by AI. That's exactly how I see it. Of course, ultimately, there's some critical jobs. There's some critical thinking. Sorry. being done also by AI. And the PhD student will also rely on AI for helping him or her thinking about their thesis and what are they producing, of course. So I think I don't know if we could say that I don't see a one size fits all today. I don't believe in that theories of that, AI will have will produce a linear replacement of jobs in society. I don't think that will be the case. I think you'll have economies better placed, better prepared to have that immediate incorporation. You have other economies that are not so well prepared because think of something, and going back to the idea of the plumber and electrician, Bob, AI needs to be classified as such, by the way, but AI is rapidly becoming a critical infrastructure, right? As you have the electricity grid, AI is becoming that, will become a critical infrastructure because it will be the base of many things, many algorithms running, many prompts needed in the economy, in the data economy that will be developed in the future. So if it's a critical infrastructure, it will have to dialogue and be connected and coordinated, articulated with the other critical infrastructures. So everything works, at the same pace, and we have a refined orchestra of critical infrastructures as we have today, ensuring that society is running and that they serve their purpose. So that's what I see. The power of AI coming together as a critical infrastructure. I think it will have the capacity to repower some of the old infrastructures we had, some of the old systems we had, and they will be repowered by AI. But that doesn't mean that the AI will replace them entirely. It means that partially, like in the new jobs of the future, it will be partially utilized as a strength, and it will be partially utilized to leverage the role of the one in charge. So that's ideally how we see it. Of course, we're not in control yet, because again, we need to ensure that in the policymaking sphere, for instance, turning it to one of the most important aspects of AI, who is regulating it, right? Where's the oversight? Where is the guarantee that we keep human in the loop? We need parties to start understanding, and political parties to start understanding something about AI. They need to start speaking the language of algorithms. They need to start discussing the ethics of algorithms. They need to start discussing how the data rights and the data economy is being built by the companies themselves in a free market, because no one is regulating or looking at it as it should be.
No, and we don't want to be governed by companies and
Exactly.
systems. There'll be 10 companies, and they'll be writing the governing of laws of the world. No longer, because it's universal. So no longer per country, per city, per state. It'll be something out of a sci-fi or a movie.
Sounds like sci-fi, but
A new world
if
order by
yeah,
AI
AI
companies,
are
which is two hands. It'll be 10 companies. Yes, and they kind of govern the whole thing. They influence how we live, the
yeah.
laws, and what we do, and politics.
I
Yeah,
think we're moving into an hybrid world. So I think we will be co-governed by companies to some extent, but also
that's
in
scary.
collaboration.
Because these companies has a bottom line goal always. You know that the main goal is always the bottom line.
Well, it is a profit. I know, is always the bottom line, but think of the corporate world you see today out there. Well, we might have different perceptions from where we sit, but I know you have a completely holistic view on it as well. And Bob, I don't think that corporations can go away today as they used to, right? So you have to be accountable at some point. You're more exposed, and that's also something that AI is doing for people in a broad sense. I think AI is also empowering people to to be smarter, to be rapidly on board with what's happening in this or that company. And I mean, intelligence is becoming democratized. That's what AI is doing. AI is opening up intelligence to everyone. So things will get refined. And so I believe that companies will have to be more transparent and more accountable also with AI. So it has both. It has you have the pros and cons of this, right? It's not a one-side story. Companies will have to also learn the ropes of the new world. And that means more empowered societies also to ensure and to hold them accountable for their acts or to cancel them for their acts, as we're seeing today. So I think that's not a one-side game. I believe that people are more aware, and they will use AI to make companies to hold companies account for their acts.
AI can do everything. Can AI do two things? Bring unity to the world and peace.
Well, that's a great question, isn't it? What would I say? Let me get to the core message of my book. And that's one of the things. How can we redesign peace in a world that it's at war, openly at war? And can AI be a positive force in this world at war? I think, and that's one of the core messages of my book. AI, we can't see AI just as a technology. We need to see AI as a new geopolitical force, a new actor in global politics. And I argue that we're moving from diplomacy between states to diplomacy between systems, human and artificial. So this new relationship, human-machine, needs to be designed, needs to be redesigned. The rules of engagement need to be designed, or we risk chaos later. So if we do it right, that's my point, Bob, AI can actually strengthen cooperation and help humanity to tackle global challenges together. I believe that AI will be the defining test of whether humanity can cooperate across borders or not. Imagine climate models powered by AI, health systems that share data securely via blockchain, or peace negotiations assisted by unbiased analysis. Think about it. Policy. Let me give you a hint of why I'm so positive about this as well, of seeing AI solving our problems. Policymaking, for instance, or diplomacy, but let's go to policymaking. Policymaking, you have policy people and politicians thinking, and I've been there, politicians, they think short term, right? There's it's a short-termism activity. With AI moving at exponential pace, that means that they will forcefully become long-term thinkers again. They don't have any choice. If they could choose, maybe they would choose short-termism because that's what make them more comfortable, but they don't have any choice. Because the speed of events will be so fast that means that even the shortest political term of 2 or 3 years will feel like a century. And that will force everyone, the community of decision makers, to start thinking long term again. Period. There's no choice. And the same with diplomacy. You have today discussions that entail emotions, that entail historic reads, that entail political analysis from the ideological standpoint. But imagine peace negotiation assisted by unbiased analysis, variables, just running variables.
Unbiased analysis. That's the key.
So
Yes.
AI could make diplomacy more evidence-based, policy more facts-based, and less emotional. Of course, there's a flip side. If weaponized, it could destabilize everything, of course. But that's exactly the fine line we
Absolutely.
need to walk to walk through all together. So yeah, it's challenging, but it's possible. That's my message.
You know, when blockchain started and say, it's a fade, cryptocurrency, and all of that, and now I think blockchain will, I would say, not be back. It's already here and existent, but will be more effective and more involved because of AI. Yes, and that's the future. I think AI
Trustworthy,
with the
exactly. It's
blockchain.
the trustworthy uh, interconnection between
Yeah.
systems and
Yes. I think now when AI, we're going to see blockchain flourishing more, and the new wave currency, the new wave payment, the new wave of financial world
yes.
transactions.
So
It's so quick and so fast. Yeah.
the NFTs world, right? They use blockchain, the new value in the luxury sector. The luxury industry is already using massively NFTs within blockchain and the blockchain using the blockchain technology. So we're seeing more and more of that, and yes, people will seek for, and industries and data economy will specialize in more robust systems, more trustworthy, and we'll seek again for the sweet spot of trust and confidence to provide consumers. So absolutely, absolutely.
Rui, your
Yes.
book, you've been talking about it throughout the whole interview. I'm sure a lot of our listeners would want to know more about it, where to get it. Is it available everywhere? When it be
It's already
available?
available on Amazon. You can get it.
On
Yes,
Amazon.
Amazon. It's available on Amazon. You can buy it on Amazon. Just look for.
Do you have a copy that you could
I don't
show the
have it
audience
in
and the
front of
camera
me.
if
I
you haven't
don't have it.
access to that copy? You sold out.
I
You
sold out.
sold out.
But I read it on Kindle. To be honest, I revised it on Kindle
Yes.
last time. But yes, I'm waiting for the
Yes.
author copies. To be honest, but
So it's
it's
available on
available on Amazon,
Amazon.
hardcover, paperback, or digital. So yes, you can buy it on Amazon easily.
Okay.
Um, and yes, the core message is exactly that.
And the title again
Oh,
for our
sure,
listeners,
sure.
the
It's
title of the book, so they
Statecraft
can.
3.0, the age of AI diplomacy. So it's all about
The Age of
the
AI
age of AI
Diplomacy.
diplomacy.
Yes.
It's the first book.
Available on
Yes, it's
Amazon.
available on Amazon. It's the first book written about AI diplomacy, around this idea of AI diplomacy, and the future of diplomacy. How will AI reshape international
Yes.
relations and cooperation, and ultimately become a central subject, but also central variable of future peace negotiations, as we were talking. And so, yeah,
Uh, your advice, I mean, an advice to a lot of these young entrepreneurs that who are just graduated from college and they at a crossroad. Which way to go? Should I be an entrepreneur and open my own business that evolves in AI, or should I go try to get a job at a corporation if they're hiring?
oh, that's a good. I don't have
And
that.
I'm already my future job is not being already replaced by AI.
I'm sorry to disappoint those young um, students and the youth and entrepreneurs. But
Entrepreneurs,
here's what I say: stay curious. AI evolves daily. The society will evolve at a much higher speed. Second, stay ethical, because power, uh, entrepreneurship, or working in a corporation without responsibility destroys trust. And you'll need trust for whatever you do in the future. And third, Bob, this would be my third message for those young entrepreneurs and 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 um, and young people wanting to think above and beyond and a bit outside the box. Stay human. I mean, no matter how smart machines become, leadership will still be about empathy, and vision, creativity. And the leaders, what I believe is that the leaders that will succeed in the age of AI, in the age of rapid advancements, will be those who combine these technical skills, technical literacy, and human integrity. So you're an entrepreneur or serving a bigger corporation. These are features and characteristics that you can always hold on to because they will be needed throughout life. That would be my piece of advice, my 2 cents of advice.
Rui, what an amazing conversation. I know I could go on for a couple of more hours at
Exactly.
least, talking and picking your brains on it. Definitely, you have so much information, a lot of information that you can contribute in a positive way. And I like your point of view, and definitely we're going to get the book.
I owe
And
you. I'll send
anything
you a book.
else?
I'll send you a book. Oh, it's a
Great, great.
thank
Signed
you.
copy from the
Thank
author himself. You love it. Yes,
you.
absolutely. I actually look forward to it. I want to read it. Before we say goodbye to our audience, well, to you and our viewers and listeners, anything you would like to add, Rui?
Oh no, I just gave my piece of advice. So I guess that's my last take. Just stay curious, and ensure that you exercise the best side of our life stories, which is to stay human and be human. I mean, that's exactly what I would suggest.
Yes. And also your advice earlier to a lot of the younger generation,
Learn a
learn a
skill.
skill.
Learn a skill.
It doesn't hurt. Learn a skill. Absolutely. Wonderful. Well, I just want to say thank you again
Thank
for
you,
joining
Paul.
us on INNOV8
It's
Presents
lovely to.
Entrepreneurs in Tech. My pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. And I'm sure we'll have part two of this
For sure.
conversation. Be sure to connect with us on social media. Till next time, keep innovating, stay curious. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to share INNOV8 Presents Entrepreneurs in Tech podcast. And if you're joining us on YouTube, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Until next time.